And welcome to Blockbuster Bums. Kick back your recliner, crack open a beer, and let's talk movies. And today we're here to talk about the last and final installment, at least for now, of Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny, the fifth movie in the Indiana Jones series. Um, that being said, I do have some housekeeping to go over. As you can tell, maybe not the all the familiar faces on the names you're used to seeing. Patrick's spot is empty on the screen, but he's in Tom's spot, and Tom's not here. As much as that might look like Tom, it's not.
Not quite.
That's Wade, not David. That's in David's spot. We're having technical difficulties tonight. We apologize. So we couldn't change the names, and we were just having some issues there. But Wade is back. You would recognize Wade from some James Bond episodes he did with us. I think you see him twice and during the Bond run. Um, so he come back, filled in for us tonight. Thank you, Wade.
Yeah, no problem.
Tom had to call out from the pod. He, I guess technically we suspended him. We really didn't like some of the things he had to say in a past episode, and we placed him on suspension without pay this time, not with, unfortunately.
Poor
Uh,
soul.
and and David had some prior commitments, so we didn't want to do a 3-man episode. So I hit up a fill-in bum, and Wade answered the call. So we appreciate it, and I think that's all the housekeeping I have. So let's get started, guys. Barry, what did you think? I think this is your first watch of Dial of Destiny, correct?
Yeah, maybe for other guys too that they were forced to watch it for this. I don't know. Yeah. That said, I generally thought it was okay. There was nothing about it I found particularly offensive or that I hated. It felt like a movie that probably didn't need to be made, but they did, and it was all right.
Fair enough. Wade, was this your first watch as well?
I think I had started it, but I don't remember the ending, so I don't. I must not have made it all the way through the first time. I guess.
Well, it's not a very memorable ending either.
Yeah. So, but I made it all the way through before this. So
So what were your thoughts?
I thought it was decent, kind of similar to what he said. It was kind of nostalgic. I thought compared, when you watch some of the older movies, they tried to bring some of that stuff back and
Mm-hmm.
made it. They tried to make it feel like some of the older movies. I thought it was fine. They got um, the villain, I like that actor. Is it Mads?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
I like
and
Mads Mikkelsen as well.
he pops up in a lot of stuff, and I thought he did a fine job. And I thought for the leading actor being 80 years old, the movie ended up being all right. I mean, I thought he looked all right on screen for being. I think he was probably around 80 when he probably made the movie.
Yeah, and
So
he's
I
made
mean,
movies since.
yeah, and I didn't think it looked like crap. And certain parts you can tell if it's like the actual actor or not
Mm-hmm.
him, and then they look terrible moving around. I thought he did all right for his age, moving around on camera, and it was fine.
Fair enough. And Ray, was this your first watch?
Uh, well, I did dabble with the first 20 minutes before, but I didn't like the aging thing,
Oh yeah,
so that kind of turned me off.
Yeah.
But then I was forced to watch this time. But I was pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed this movie as well as I did.
there you go.
I was really, really kind of blown away with the idea of the Dial of Destiny. Um, there was a couple, like the female lead. I really liked her by the end of the movie.
Elena.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I liked they brought the Nazis back.
Mm-hmm.
You
Um,
would.
not like that, Barry.
Yeah.
But let's see. Let me go off my note. It was grounded as humanly possible, as much as it could be with a sci-fi flick. I thought they did really good with that. They didn't go overboard with it. They didn't do like some crazy Doctor Who time machine bullshit. It was just perfectly done with this little device made by Archimedes,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked it. They did really good. Um, unlike the last one, the filters, the lighting were not crap. The cinematography was really well done. The story worked very well. Let's see. Helena, she was the development of her character was made perfectly, from skeezy, money hungry Tomb Raider scavenger to kind of the hero turn at the end. I like that. That was pretty good. Mads was great as always. Um, the henchman team I thought was pretty awesome.
I don't think we've had used the word henchman since Bond.
Right.
Mhm.
But I mean,
They kind of were.
they
yeah.
worked. They were really good henchman team. There wasn't really a love interest, but we'll talk about that later.
Are you blowing your whole notes right here at the beginning?
No, I got
No.
this is just my intro.
Huh.
And then I just thought it was paced perfectly. Great adventure movie. Like I text some people in the text.
Yeah.
I had some deep discussions about if it's going to hit the top 3 or not. But we'll talk about that later.
Nice.
I guess that leaves me. I will say I had not watched this before. This was my first watch. Because, it takes place, well, not takes place. I mean, it was made 25 years after the last one.
Yeah, because what was it, in the 70s?
Oh, you mean in terms
No,
of
I
where
mean-
it's set or when the
no,
movie
not
was
when it's
actually
set,
made?
when it's actually made. I guess the last one was made in 2008.
Right.
Oh, okay.
This one's
And then
2023.
the one before that was 1989. So we've got some big
Okay.
time jumps here. And
You
I
said
knew
89?
89 was the Last Crusade.
I know, but we had, when was last?
And then
The
08
Crystal
was
Skull.
Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull was 2008. That's what I
And
just
then-
said.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And this was 23, correct?
Yeah, 23.
Right.
But anyway, and I also knew that Indy was really, or not Indy, but Harrison Ford was really old. But literally, everybody I knew that went to see it in theater was like, it's garbage, it sucks, you can't even sit through it, don't go watch it. So I avoided it because I was
Yeah,
like, I
that's
didn't,
exactly
I don't
what I
want
thought.
to ruin my picture of Indy. So I did not watch it, and then we decided to do Indiana Jones for the podcast, obviously. So I knew I was gonna have to watch it. And I literally waited to the last minute. I just watched it yesterday. And I don't know if I'm fully blown on Ray's side, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
It was definitely not a terrible movie.
I agree.
It was not great either, by the way. But I liked it enough. I think this could have slotted in at 4 and been the last movie, and I'd have been okay with it instead of dealing with the Crystal Skull bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'd have been much happier, I think. But we can talk more about that later. I was pleasantly surprised. Is my
Yeah.
overall
Oh, yeah.
here. So that being said, we can just kick it off with some good discussion here. For what the second time, the movie starts off with a scene in the past where we're having a younger version of Indy than what he is in the movie. Technically, it's not a kid Indy like it is in Last Crusade, but it's a
It's a video game indie.
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's CGI Indy. Excuse me. But he's back dealing with the Nazis again I assume the 30s, because that's when he was dealing with a lot of the Nazi
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, it was right at the end of the
I think
war.
it was 44.
Yeah,
Oh, was it?
40,
Okay.
because
Okay.
right at the end when the Nazis were looting and trying to get the artifacts out of.
Oh, they said
France.
we're losing the war. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're correct. Thank you. So yeah, it's in the 40s. But the movie takes place in the 60s.
The present.
The
It's
present.
not the 70s.
Well, it says we just landed on the moon for the
It's like
first time.
69,
So
summer of
69.
69.
Okay.
Brian
Yeah.
Adams.
Well, because the afro and the flare pants were kind of throwing me off because I thought it was more kind
Yeah.
of
Well,
70s.
I just dated it because they said we just had our first moon landing,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
so
okay.
then I went to that. That's
Okay, so
that's
yeah,
why I did
alright.
that.
Yeah, I think
So
it was
then when-
definitely 69.
So then when was Crystal Skull?
When was that set?
Like
in
it had
the-
been 60 something.
That was during the 50s or
61.
60s. Because I
So
know
that
the
was
Soviet Union
Greaser,
was the bad guy.
The Grease.
I don't have it in my notes,
Crap.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
but
that.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't
How,
know.
how do
Probably
you guys
50
feel
something,
about the CGI, AI, whatever they did to de-age? But well, they de-aged Indiana Jones and they also de-aged Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes.
How'd you guys?
See, I didn't
Did
notice
they-
the Mads one,
Yeah, yeah, I noticed
but
that. Did they also? I guess I didn't pay close enough attention. Did they also de-age his archaeology partner?
They may have, but I think since that was a character that none of us are familiar with, or an actor that none of us are familiar with,
but
maybe they did, but wasn't noticeable to me if
yeah,
they
I
did
couldn't
because
tell.
I don't know that guy.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
Well, he was in the Captain America movie. He
Okay.
was Zola.
Yeah, he's been in some things, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's not a
Arnim
huge
Zola.
huge actor.
Now I'll say this about particularly the opening. Um, I thought it was fine. I thought it was too long.
A little bit,
I
yeah.
think that they
Yeah.
probably could have trimmed that a little bit, but that seems to be true of like almost every movie that's made in the last 15 years. I don't know what the deal is. And mostly I was perfectly fine with the de-aged Indy, particularly because that's where most of the attention fell. Mads was to the side and not as big of a deal, and they covered him up with the glasses a little bit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See,
But
this
there were
time around, I
times-
wasn't too.
What's
I,
that?
I said this time around with the NDDH, I was kind of more comfortable with it, so it didn't kind of phase me as much. But when I first watched it, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I thought it was mostly okay, but there were moments during it where I was pretty put off by it, and particularly when you have de-aged
Yeah.
CGI Indiana Jones, and like everything going on around him is clearly also CGI, and I was like, I don't know about
Well,
this.
the audio was kind of throwing me off because the mouth don't mess with the audio, and I'm like,
Yeah, well, he
It's
had
like-
old man Harrison Ford voice
yeah, that
with
too.
40-year-old Harrison Ford
Well,
face and body.
I will say this: it was not perfect by any means. You could tell that it was not real people, for sure. It didn't bother me as much as I thought it would. I wasn't like sitting there cringing or
Yeah.
getting irritated. I was just like, yeah, I'm like. But when it was over, I was like, okay, like that's cool. Like it's done now. Like
And see, I kind of thought of it because I love Tron Legacy, and what's the main actor
Jeff Bridges.
yeah.
Or no.
That was like
That
the
it?
Disney's first
think you're
attempt
right.
at de-aging shit.
mhm.
But see, that didn't bother me. So I kind of had to set myself back and be like, I love Tron.
Well, they also did it with what's his name, Hank Pym.
Yeah, but that was
the guy
that was a
played
little
Hank
bit better
Pym. What's
though.
his name? Douglas.
Yeah,
What's
Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
And I think they did it with
They were
Kurt
Robert
Russell
Downey Jr.
in one of those raccoon superhero movies.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Guardians.
Guardians? They do it. Oh, okay.
They did with Downey Jr. too.
So I know it's a thing that happens,
Yeah,
and
it happens.
I didn't hate it, but there were times where I was just like, this is just everything I'm looking at is computer generated, and I don't care for that.
I
Right.
if they would have done a whole movie like that, I would have been thoroughly irritated, thoroughly irritated. But when I got it in small doses with the flashbacks, I was all right with it. I wasn't thrilled, but I was just like,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Usually when they de-age people, there's always like one or two little scenes where the character's sitting still where it looks bad.
Yeah,
Where you can always tell really badly that it's CGI. When they're moving around a lot, it doesn't really, you can't really
Mhm.
tell or you don't really pay attention to it. But I feel like whenever they try and de-age anyone in any of the movies, there's always one or two little tiny scenes where you can just really tell, like when the character's kind of still. I just thought it had a couple of those little moments where it just kind of looked, eh.
I also thought that it was their way of showing us some really good indie action sequences without it being completely unbelievable and ridiculous.
Yeah,
You
Yeah,
know what I
it's
mean? Because
Harrison Ford
it
baby.
was like, oh, he's 40 again. Like, yeah, we can show him beating the crap out of some guys and jumping off trains and
yeah.
whatever else he's gonna do.
I kind of liked the scene, to be honest. I thought it kind of set the tone for like they were trying to give you they were trying to make it like some of the older movies, and I thought that's
Mhm.
what the scene was for. Was just kind of have like a scene like that in the movie, just to kind of remind you of the older movies. I thought.
Well, I agree with you. You said this earlier, and I meant to talk on it, and I didn't. When you go back and make a movie like this, like much after or a sequel, and however you want to look at it, I'm a firm believer if you don't play into nostalgia, you're making a huge mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but you can't go overboard with it.
True, too.
I to an extent, but I even think the borderline line is down the line quite a ways. I just said line too many times, but like I'll give you an example of what I'm talking about. in the last handful of years, we've had two sequels that have come out. One that fed into nostalgia hardcore, and everybody loved it. It was like the best movie of the year, and broke box office numbers. And the other one just completely destroyed nostalgia, and everybody hates it. One of which is Top Gun Maverick,
Yeah, that movie was huge.
and the other one is Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, garbage.
And they took everything we all loved and everything and shit on it. And this movie fed into nostalgia. The first 2 seconds of the movie, they start playing the Top Gun theme song, and he's riding his motorcycle, and you're like, "Oh, we're
Yeah,
back."
But the biggest difference between those two movies, Top Gun Maverick had a pretty awesome story.
It did.
Rise of Skywalker did not.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a story for another day, or argument for another day. I don't disagree with you, but my point is feeding into a nostalgia is so helpful when you're making these sequels, especially sequels where the characters are clearly different. I mean, Indy is clearly much older, or Harrison Ford. I mean,
Yeah.
Tom Cruise is clearly much older. So
Is he?
but my point was, Wade, yes, they played into the nostalgia in this movie. We got the same theme song. We got the plane flying on the map. We got the
One of
same.
my favorite things ever.
Yeah, he's still dressed the same. You still get that ridiculous punch sound when he hits people.
Subtle thing.
You got to see Marion. You got to see Sala. They were recalling things, like Wade said. We got the flashback scene to him being younger with the Nazis. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
These are things that they were calling us back to that I thought they did a fine with.
They were
And
trying
then-
to pull everybody in with like a really fun scene right off the bat that was similar to the scenes he had in other movies that people loved. And I think that was the whole point of the whole scene.
By the way,
Everybody
speaking
in.
of scenes, I know Harrison Ford broke his hip shooting this movie, and they
Okay.
had to stop production of the movie for a while because obviously he was laid up. Does anybody know what he was doing, what scenes he was trying to do when he broke his hip?
No. It
No.
was nothing like that. He was just getting out of bed.
Probably
No,
the
I have
recliner.
no idea.
I don't know the
I
answer
don't know.
either. I just wondered if anybody knew.
But Barry, you remember last week or Crystal Skull or something? I asked everybody. I said, if we could come up with a story for the next Indiana Jones, and I was like Atlantis. I can't remember what you said, and then Tom came up with
The Spear of Destiny.
the Spear of Destiny
Mm.
on
Yeah.
the train.
Oh, that's
Yes.
true. Yeah, he
Yeah.
did.
The Spear of Destiny is like the thing you think this movie is about at first.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then it's not.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah.
he was on the right road there. At
Yeah,
least
he
one
was.
of us.
No, and to be honest with you, the Spear of Destiny probably would have been way cooler than the Crystal Skull.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, I mean, we got the Ark of the Covenant. We got his cup. Like, the spear would have been the logical next step here.
Mm-hmm.
And then
You
I
know?
think David said something about the Jesus' shroud.
The shroud, yeah.
Shroud.
Or Barry's a big shroud guy. Barry likes to talk about the shroud, so that might have been a
The
Barry
shroud's
thing.
very
That
real.
might have been well,
Yes.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to do another callback here that has nothing to do with Indiana Jones, though. All I kept thinking through that scene with that first scene here with the Nazis is all these guys have Lugers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Band of Brothers. It's a huge thing in Band of Brothers that everybody wants a Luger. Everybody wants a Luger. I'm like,
Mhm.
everybody in the scene has a Luger, but Indy.
Yeah, and the motherfucker clammed up on him.
Yeah. So I was like, Lugers everywhere. Band of Brothers. Just call back to Band of Brothers.
On winners.
But then we get, essentially like transported back to current day after that original scene. Indy waking up in an apartment. And I guess the best way to describe it, he's a cranky and angry old man.
Man out of
Yeah, I
time.
didn't care for that.
Yeah.
Well,
It was too much. Too much. And I was once a young guy and I had a lot of fun in my youth. And even with that, we did not party at 8 a.m.
no,
We didn't party
No.
hard at 8 a.m.
but it was Moon Day.
I don't
Even
know.
so, I don't.
I did a few times.
Really? But you couldn't get a group of people together like, hey, we're all gonna get together
They
and
were already there from the night
Really?
before.
But it was 8 a.m. on a Monday.
Yeah, I've been there.
But that being said, Barry, I'm gonna say this: when it first happened, the cranky, angry old man thing, I agreed with you. I was like, I don't like this. This is not Indiana Jones. Blah blah blah. But as the movie went on and I saw his arc, I liked it.
Well, once they explained, when he explains, like, what was he talking to?
He's talking to Helena. You're talking about on
Yeah.
the ship,
Yeah, when he talks about
his son.
everything that happened. Yeah, and then it
Mhm.
clicked to my head who, because I hadn't been watching all
Well,
this here
they
recently, so I
give you
was
small
trying to
hints
recall
because once he
certain
goes
stuff.
back to his apartment to get dressed, they show you the divorce papers
Yeah.
for him and Marion on the table.
Yeah, I had to pause that because I was like, "What is it? What?"
And then later on the ship, I mean, that he does tell you that his son has been killed.
poor Mutt.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
like that at first, but
It
I'm
just like
like,
clicked
And
in my head at one point. I was like, wait, that's Shia LaBeouf, isn't it?
yeah,
Like, because it's been a while since I'd watched, which one is it? The fourth one?
Crystal Skull.
Crystal Skull. So I was sitting there thinking, I was like, what's that movie where he meets his son? And then I was like,
Mhm.
it's Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
I was like, all right.
And he's also lost his his very good job at what university was he at?
shit, I can't
No,
remember.
I have no idea.
But
But
yeah,
he was retiring,
Yeah,
right?
retiring.
well, he's retiring now, but he's at a shit public school now. He's not at a prestigious
yeah,
school
yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
You know, like his life is essentially in shambles, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And through this, he kind of becomes indie again, and you know, and then later in the movie, he works through some of his
Yeah.
stuff, I guess, without giving away the whole rest of the movie. Trying to
Right.
talk about it. Um, what do you think? What do you think about that, Barry?
About his arc in the movie. I don't necessarily want Indiana Jones to have an arc, particularly in any movie. I want him to be kind of generic action adventurer guy. I don't mind a little bit of stuff here and there, but I don't need an overarching
So you want him
growth
to
as a
be
human
like,
being thing.
so you want him like create a wrestler number 7.
Something like that. Yeah. The family stuff, I mean, I don't hate it or anything, but it kind of, to me, it's reminiscent of, James Bond having a baby. It's like, why are we doing this? I was confused. I mean, I know I'm jumping to the end. I know that, like Ray just said, Miriam had filed for divorce, and then at the end, they seem like they're both perfectly a-okay with each other, like out of nowhere. I don't know if I misunderstood what had happened. I thought that was weird. But again, as far as watching and being entertained, the movie was entertaining enough that I'm not bothered by these things. I just don't know that they make a lot of sense to me.
I kind of partially agree with what you're saying. I didn't mind the arc or the storyline. There were just times where I just wasn't sure if that's what we needed for 80-year-old Indiana Jones. Like,
Right.
it was a little bit much.
Yeah.
I didn't like hate it
Yeah.
like you said, but it's like I don't know. It's just like he's
Kinda
like
like-
80 years old. Do we need all this drama?
Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was fine.
Yeah.
Well, I think they needed something to push Indy through the movie without him being, because he can't be an action hero anymore. He's 80.
Yeah.
So
Then don't make the movie.
Well, I agree with you, but he did.
Probably for a lot of money too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did.
Oh, could I mention, and I'm sure you're going to get to it, but I just wanted to. I went into this movie expecting to strongly dislike Helena. Is
Yeah.
that right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, I really like the nickname Wombat. That's a
Yeah.
pretty good
Yeah.
nickname.
Yeah.
But anyway, I liked her just fine.
I did too.
I don't know if I was meant to actually really like her, or if you're meant to kind of be like wary of her and dislike her at times. But just generally speaking, I don't think that she made Indy look like a chump or anything like that,
Mm-mm.
which I know was kind of the worry. And she wasn't like some overbearing, hyper feminist, preachy, anything like
Yeah.
that, which could have very well happened in 2023 when this movie was being made.
100%. I don't
Um,
think she was pushing that agenda.
Yeah, so generally speaking, I liked that character.
I did too, and I 100% agree with what you said, Barry. I think you need to be wary of her because I mean, right off the first thing you see her do is screw Indy over.
Oh yeah, she could have had him killed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I do believe even the longer the movie goes on, you're kind of more trusting of her. But I think that's always in the back of your head. Like she's not necessarily a great person.
No. And there was a part where I was like, oh, we're not going to do this fucking shit again. Where she was like, where have you been? The old bad godfather,
Mhm.
kind of like they was in the
Oh,
in the
yeah.
last one. I'm like, I'm glad that only lasts for like 10 minutes.
Well,
Because I couldn't handle that again.
he shut it down pretty fast when he essentially was like, "Well, my real son died, and I
Yeah.
was in a bad place." Like, and she was pretty much like, "Oh shit! Like I didn't know that. Like my bad."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you were upset because your son died, and I was upset because my dad died, and like we essentially went our own separate ways.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Did it ever tell us how old she was when her dad died?
She was
Like 11 or 12, I think.
Well, he said the last time he
She was
saw her,
12.
she was 12, but did he die right after that?
not sure.
I don't think they explain it. Do they?
Yeah, because I
I
was
don't
like,
think so. Because
she
they
was-
did that flashback and about the
right, about when he took the half the
dial.
dial from
Yeah.
him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But
she was
other than
definitely 12 the last time she saw Indiana Jones,
Mm-hmm.
and she's 30 in the movie. So sometime in her
And they
youth,
showed the picture of all three, and she looked at least 10 or 11 in the picture.
Mhm.
So I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I'm not sure either because it's one thing if like at 12 or 13 he died and Indy didn't do anything about it, but if she was 22 and his dad died, sad obviously. Nobody wants to lose a parent, but like you're a grown ass woman, like going about your life, like you don't need to come take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know, but yeah, odd.
Yeah.
Let me ask a question. This is maybe the most shallow thing I've ever said, and I've said a lot of shallow things talking with you guys about movies. Now, I don't think that Phoebe Waller or something or other is her name, the actress. I don't think she's an ugly woman by any
Is
stretch.
that the lady that plays
Oh my
Elena?
God! I
She's
know what you're gonna
fairly
say,
attractive.
Barry.
I mean, she's not an ugly woman. She's fine. But for a huge film like this, and I know she's not Indiana Jones' love interest, obviously. Would it have been smarter for them to have put a more attractive woman in this role?
Okay, I thought about this quite a bit actually and I planned on bringing it up. So way to go, Barry, because normally Tom and I are the ones that have to be
I
shallow.
thought you were gonna say something about the mole on her head, and I was way off.
Oh no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I found that cute.
I agree with you. Again, not an ugly woman,
No.
but we're talking about like Bond girl, indie girl level people. Like they're usually very, very attractive. Now, again, she's not the love interest. He's married, and this is like almost like his daughter type situation.
Yeah.
I would say normally it would be a very, very attractive woman. But I also thought about like, well, she's an archaeologist. How hot's she gonna be?
I mean,
You know?
remember Dr.
Uh,
Christmas Jones? She was like a nuclear physicist, and
Or I mean, we got Bones. Bones pretty hot.
I mean, yeah,
the guy from Star Trek.
No,
Oh
the show Bones, fool.
no,
I mean, she'd be, yeah. I mean, there's some hotties out there that be working in the dirt.
yeah. Now again, I didn't have a problem with this actress or the character, and I'm only looking at it from somewhat of like a wider appeal. Like if you're just some guy and you don't really care what you're watching, but you see some, hot woman, maybe you watch it a little bit longer and stay tuned or whatever, as opposed to some middling attractive, I don't know, woman like Phoebe Waller or whatever.
But, apparently she knows how to get it done, Barry, because that fucking prince was just all over her.
that prince was obsessed.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Obsessed.
I mean, she has her charm about her.
Well, apparently
Yeah.
she's got a lot of skills.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really into the whole chase scene when you had Indy on a horse, a guy on a motorcycle, and a guy in a car.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. And they're in a parade, and then they end up in the subway. I was like, interesting. That's not something we see every day.
That was the
Yeah.
only action scene that I really liked quite a lot. The
You
rest of them I thought were
you didn't
kind
like
of
the-
disposable and not that
You
interesting.
don't like the bike car chase?
The little tuk thing, is that what
Yeah,
you mean?
those little tuk thing.
Well, I kept wishing for Octopussy. That one's better.
Oh my gosh.
No, I really enjoyed the horse. I did think for a second the horse was going to get hit by a train,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was kind of intense.
but it did not. PETA stay off their back.
But
Um,
there's a risque thing that I thought was funny that Disney brought into it. It was a quote from the black lady, and she
The,
said,
the CIA agent.
"Yeah, she go, trigger happy cracker," and I'm like, "Trigger happy cracker in a Disney movie?"
Yeah, that was the best line in the movie.
I'm like, "You're crazy! Disney's letting it loose."
Yeah.
Hey, they just made Deadpool, man. Everything goes now.
Yeah, everything's done.
The horse chase scene, which was a lot of fun. That was great.
Yeah.
Ended with a funny little, the hold my horse little line was maybe the funniest line in the movie, other than Cracker.
Which leads us into, Indy has that big scene where, I guess the trigger happy cracker is essentially just an assassin that works for Mads Mikkelsen's character, which is Jorgen Voller.
Yeah,
Well, the-
Jurgen.
Well,
The blonde hair
Voller.
guy.
Mads
Talking about-
Mikkelsen. Yeah, well, I'm talking about the blonde hair guy, but I was trying to come up with Mads Mikkelsen's name.
Oh,
It's-
gotcha.
Yeah.
yeah, Jorgen
Jürgen
Voller
Voller.
or something like that. But yeah, his little henchman that shoots everybody, the one
Yeah.
that's like real trigger happy. He's been running from him, and Indy gets away essentially after the hold my horse comment, and but then he's found out by just some random guy that's on the street, sees Indy, and just literally just appears out of nowhere, bang bang, right left, knocks the guy out. There's Sala.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great way to introduce Sala.
Yeah.
And he's hilarious. Every time he's on scene, it made me smile, and laugh. Like Sala was cool, and Sala seemed like a typical grandpa.
Yeah.
Like he's taking care of his grandkids, he's spoiling them, but at the same time getting on them about their grades. He's let's go out for ice cream. Hey, here's my old friend. He helped me out back in the day. You can tell the grandkids are kind of like rolling their eyes, like, yeah, okay, whatever, grandpa. But at the same time, like they're like, nice to meet you, Mr. Jones. Type situation. He's got himself a nice little place there. He says, Indy helped him move to America when something happened in
after
Egypt.
the war.
And yeah, the war in Egypt.
But was it War Egypt or was it World War II? Because
I don't know what war it was,
Yeah.
but he was he lived in Egypt.
yeah,
And he was like, after the war, he helped me move over here, so on and so forth. I really liked Sala's character in this movie, I guess is
Yeah.
what I'm saying long-windedly.
nice
Was it-
complimentary.
Yeah. Was it a missed opportunity not to have him involved more? And I know there's specifically a scene where he's like, let me go with you.
Yes.
I'll go. I goodness
No.
gracious, I need to go live life a little bit. And then he's like, nah, I'm not going on. Yeah, you are. You are too going on an
No,
adventure, Indiana
because-
Jones. That's what you do.
Because if you have too many senior citizens on this adventure, it turns into wild hogs
Yeah. Well, I thought about
Or
that.
red.
or red. Yeah,
Yeah. And I thought about that, but at the same time, that could have been a great
It could have been.
comic pairing if they would have done it well. And then you have Helena kind of as the more competent, perhaps, at that time. I don't want you to make Indiana Jones a fool, don't get me wrong.
yeah.
But you have her doing her kind of thing. It could have been interesting. But anyway,
Well,
it was good to see him.
I agreed with you, Barry, because when he said I brought my passport, I was like, yes, we're going to get Sala to go with them. And then when Indy essentially just blew him off, it wasn't even like,
Yeah.
hey, man, you got to take care of your wife or anything like that. It was just like, no. But then I also think the reason he did it was I think Indy still didn't believe that he got screwed over by Helena. He
Oh.
just thought that she ran because she was scared. Because those guys came in and started shooting people.
That's true.
I think he just thought, hey, I'm just going over there, meeting up with her. She'll give it back, and it'll be over. But I don't think he realized he had been double crossed at this point. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's the way I read it.
You may be right. I read it more as he's basically just looking out for him and doesn't want him getting caught up in a bunch of craziness, and he knows that he is basically a family man at this point and all that good stuff. That's how I read it.
It could very well have been too.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a number of reasons for it, and probably ultimately they used him just enough, and it's probably better that they didn't try to use him more.
Yeah.
I do think it may have lost a little bit of its charm if he traveled with Indy the whole movie. It could very well have done that. Which leads us into where does he go? Where the place where she's auctioning it off?
Uh,
I don't know where they're at.
I can't remember, but
But
it
I
tells us
know-
because we see the map.
yeah.
The map. He tells the map and the plane.
it
We see it,
Greece?
but I can't try to remember where it lands.
Somewhere on the Mediterranean, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alexandria? No, I don't
I
know.
do
can't
know that
remember.
she was holding like a little private criminal auction
Yes.
for
Stolen artifacts.
yeah, thank you. And that's where we meet the sidekick, but it's not Indiana Jones' sidekick. It's Helena's sidekick. And I don't know
It's Teddy?
what they were going for with this guy. I didn't hate him or anything like that. He was all right. But if you're going to have a sidekick like that, he needs to be younger and cuter. He can't have a mustache. And I don't know. I just think if you're going for that sort of a vibe, which they were going for like, oh, isn't he cute? Is that sort of thing, right? You need to go with somebody younger, like a short, roundish sort of thing.
Well, he was the watered down short round.
Very watered down.
Yeah.
For sure. I do think they were going for a short round type situation, and I agree with Barry. It was like I didn't hate the kid
No.
or the act or the character, however you want to look at it. I don't even know how old he was supposed to be. I was gonna say
28, which isn't so cute.
Yeah, I think he was. I thought mid-teens probably. Probably close to driver's license time.
Yeah. If they
Um,
require that kind of thing over there.
but
I don't even know his name. What was his-
Teddy.
Teddy. All right.
Yeah. But we do meet him there. You're not really. I don't think you're really sure whose side he's on at first when you first see him.
Yeah.
But then he helps Helena when shit hits the fan. So you're kind of like, oh, they're working together some way, shape, or form. This whole scene's crazy because Helena and Teddy are there. Of course, Indy's there. Then the killers and Mads Mikkelsen's character, or Jorgen's character, shows up. And then the prince with all his soldiers or bodyguards, whatever they are, show up. And it's
Yeah.
pretty much just like a killing spree, and which leads into a high-speed chase on the little
I think
cars.
they're called tuk-tuks. I could be wrong on that.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny at the table. And he's like, everybody get back. Got that whip out. And everybody just draws weapons and starts shooting.
Yeah, that was
I'm
pretty
like, you're a
funny.
little out of place, Indy.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like the scene from, I think, the original movie where he just whips out the gun.
Yes.
But it's being reversed on him now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I took it that way too.
Yeah.
By the way, in that fight scene, the guys that actually know how to fight, I thought it was important here. The guys that actually knew how to fight or were decent size, like that giant guy, Indy couldn't do anything to him.
No.
They just threw him around and everything, which is appropriate. He's 80 years old. Like, he's not going to beat the crap out of everybody. But there were some smaller guys in there that he would just punch in the face. He put his hat over a guy's face at one point and not, punches him. Things like that. Like, I was like, oh, yeah. Like, he's still trying to be Indy, but they're not trying to make it look like this 80-year-old man is just whipping everybody's ass.
Yeah,
Because that would have been stupid.
Yeah. What's the word you like to use? Asinine?
Asinine, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was happy they didn't have that. I thought it was important to try and be a little realistic
Yeah.
with this 80-year-old man's not coming in like Jack Reacher and just knocking the shit out
Yeah,
of
because
everybody.
that dude fucked the shit up on him like Jack Reacher. And that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Barry touched on it. Essentially we have Indy traveling around with a kid again. He's not as endearing as Short Round. I will agree with you on that, Barry. Yeah.
Yeah. He's all right. I just think it's an odd choice for them to have made, for the actor. The actor does fine, but he's just not. I don't know what the appeal is there. Like, you would want a younger person
Well, I mean,
in that
I
role,
know
I
what
would think.
they were trying to mesh two characters together. the short round, and then the Watcher, and Temple of Doom. The dude just watching Indy's back in the first scene at the Chinese place
Oh,
of
yeah.
Obi-Wan's.
Yeah.
Well, they meshed them two together because he's watching her back and being the sidekick at the same time. So they put two together,
Yeah.
and that's what they went for.
And he's fine.
But I think this right here, after the car chase scene, or the little cart or whatever it is scene, that's where the movie gets long. Where they could have cut multiple things here. Between here and the end of the movie, there's a lot.
But see, it didn't feel like that to me.
I didn't think it was like awful. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is going on. But there's a lot here. Like, we're gonna go here and do this. We're gonna go here and do this. Well, the fucking bad guys, Jorgen and his crew, are like Michael Myers. They just appear no matter how fast or how secret you get there, they just appear behind you.
Yeah.
Like they were everywhere.
Mhm.
Like, hey, we're in this like cave and we've walked for 10 minutes on the movie and through this cave, through water, through locked doors, everything, and then there's the bad guys. They were just
Yeah.
everywhere. And again, it's a very similar trope of we both know what we need. We both know where it is. We've got to beat them to it.
Yeah.
I will say that the Helena's character wasn't as useful in this as I thought she was in this part. She seemed almost useless when they were trying to find the artifact.
Oh. Yeah, to an extent.
You know, I mean, she was talking to Indy earlier in the movie, talking about how, you know, she went to school and she was an archaeologist now. So I was like, oh, so they're like on a level playing field. You know, she knows all this stuff too, and she kind of came across very smart at the beginning. And I was like, oh, so she knows all of her stuff. And then when it came time to actually go find an artifact, she was just like, well, Indy, lead the way. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Well, I mean, that's because she baited him in to get the dial. That's the only reason she came off like, oh, yeah, I know this, and I know my dad's knows, blah, 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 at the bar. And then in the thing, that was the whole bait job. But then come to find out once they hit the Antonio Banderas boat that she actually become useful again and knew the cryptic code and whatever else, that kind of thing. So she went from bait job to knowledge again.
So you think her bait stuff was fake? You don't think she actually is an archaeologist?
No, the bait job was luring him in to get the dial.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I know that. Yeah,
but then there was times where it's just like, she kind of stepped back because Indy probably knows a little bit more, so she stepped back, let him go in. But she probably knows not as much, but in the general vicinity of the knowledge of the thing because her dad's notes. And I mean, she said she memorized 7 notebooks worth. So I mean, whether that's true or not, at least she's got some kind of recollection or general idea of what's going on.
Yeah, I think she's generally competent. You know, I like it that they don't make her better than Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
more knowledgeable.
And
than
that's probably the
because that would
point.
have been really off-putting to people.
Yeah.
agreed. Yeah, I mean, Ray, you kind of brought it up. We get to see Antonio Banderas.
I thought it was awesome. I wasn't ready for that. I kind of forgot about
Yeah,
that.
it's short-lived. He is killed,
Yeah.
He does
and
die pretty fast.
But we got Indy in water. I was ready for a dive shot with Indy.
Yeah.
Finally.
Yeah, that was weird because they kind of almost set up something fun there, and then they didn't deliver anything fun there.
Well, you can't really do anything with old scuba equipment because you got to go a straight path and go a straight path back, so you can't really do a whole lot.
Right.
And then they did the tease with the sea snakes, the
Right.
eels, which is like whatever, you know. Let's get through this, and
there is no clever way out of anything. They kept mentioning the 3 minutes of air,
yeah,
and that didn't really play into anything either.
yeah,
So it's like, well, why didn't you do something fun with what you set up? They did set up fun,
yeah,
but then they decided not to deliver on it.
yeah. You can only do so much with ancient equipment.
Maybe. I'm sure if they would have thought about it a little longer and made an effort, they could have done something.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. I wasn't super impressed with the dive scene myself. I was just kind of like, yeah, we could have cut this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why
Especially-
keep mentioning there's 3 minutes of air if you're not going to pay it off by having some distress thing where somebody's running out of air? And if you're going to have the eels, like, yeah, they were there, but there was no like cool thing Indiana Jones did to escape. He just kind of shook them off.
Yeah, with the flare.
It's like, all right, great.
I think they were just trying to show us that Indy's still scared of snakes.
Yeah.
I think that's all they were trying to
Yeah.
do, and they went a little crazy with it.
And I don't. Does eels act like that?
I don't know.
Psychotic like that?
I'm not sure.
Mm.
I don't know. By the way, they pulled the inflate things to shoot them to the surface. Like that pops your lungs. Like you can't do that.
Hmm.
Like you die.
Duly noted.
Like that's what they talk about. Like people like divers, they don't usually die because they on the way down. They die on the way up because you can't shoot them back up because it makes your lungs pop.
Mm.
Oh, because of pressure.
Yeah. So like you have to come up slowly.
Right.
So if you stay down too long, you can't come up slowly, and then you get lightheaded and you pass out and you drown.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was a little weirded by it. Like maybe they weren't low enough for it to matter. Maybe that was the case.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't low enough and they could just shoot up to the top because they weren't that low. I don't
Yeah,
know.
because it's probably pretty close. Because only 3 minutes of air, so it had to be close to the surface.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It could have been. Yeah. But yeah, Antonio, or Jorgen's character kills Antonio and Banderas. Because I don't even remember Antonio Banderas' character's name, to be honest with you.
No.
We have no internet, so I can't have the cast up. Normally, I would have the cast up so I could tell everybody's names. But Indy and Helena and Teddy get away with a combination of Helena's smarts and somebody. Is it Teddy that throws the explosive?
No, it was Helena.
Was Helena
Yeah,
that threw the
because you remember
explosive?
Indy was helping her light it because she had
Yeah.
the match or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they kind of worked as a 3-man team there to get the
Mhm.
escape, but they escape in a little boat. Which then leads them to the cave.
Yeah.
Correct?
At Greece, right?
Yeah, I think it's Greece. Yeah, they end up in Greece in a cave. All these things, and that is where Indy gets shot.
Yeah.
They shoot Indy. It at the end of the movie when he wakes up in the apartment, they say the shoulder, but I thought he got shot in the chest.
No,
The-
it
I
was
feel like
right
the
here.
wound is kind of close to the chest when they're in the cave. When they're in the cave, like,
Mhm.
isn't it?
Yeah, I thought
Is-
so.
Yeah,
is
it's like
yeah.
right-
is like up-
Kinda like right here.
Mhm.
Like it's off. I mean, it's like right, like offset a little bit.
Mhm.
So-
Okay.
Yeah, I like the whole time I was operating on the assumption he'd been shot in the chest, and I'm like, nobody seems to care that
I
Indy
did
should be
think it was
dead.
kind of the chest area. I don't know. I mean, obviously, it's just.
I would imagine, and I wasn't being that attentive. They probably made a decision. Well, we have to make it look close to the chest so that there's peril, but we also don't want to make it like straight to the heart or what. You know what I mean?
Well,
Yeah.
see, that's what I was paying
they were real
attention to because I'm
careful
like,
about where
he's
they
gonna bleed
chose.
out.
Oh, yes, I did too. I thought he was going to bleed out. Now, I have multiple things here. First thing is, they do with Jorgen's character, however you say it, what they did with the archaeologist and Raiders of the Lost Ark. His ego is so big, he has to show Indy that he's better at archaeology than him.
Mm-hmm.
So he brings Indy along.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Indy is dead in the cave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just bleeds out in the cave and dies. But no, he's like, no, bring him. I want to show him that I'm awesome and he's not, essentially. You know?
Well, that's Nazis for you.
Yeah, again, we are dealing with Nazis. Yes, same group of people as Raiders. But, you know, they take him and they essentially do travel back in time.
Yeah.
Um,
Which
to-
I liked. I liked that part actually.
Didn't bother me. I
Yeah.
thought it was kind of fun. I mean,
I was like, no, they're gonna go back to the right time, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna go way back, and I like that
yeah,
Not-
I mean,
because it showed Nazis fucking up again.
they end up in 214 BC.
Yeah, Archimedes.
Yeah. The sack of Syracuse.
Yeah.
So they end up in 214 BC, which is where, like you said, Archimedes, which is the creator of the dial.
Yeah.
We also see how Archimedes gets his watch.
Yeah, which is a kind of a crazy time loop.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Because when they discover Archimedes' tomb, he has a watch from modern
Yeah.
day on, and they're like, "How did he obviously used it to travel time or time travel?" But he actually didn't to get the watch.
Yeah.
Whether he time traveled or not, I guess we don't know. But he didn't use it to get the watch because he got the watch when people time traveled to him.
Yeah.
Like you said, kind of a loop there.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. But they get saved because Teddy's able to fly a plane through the portal too, and come down and get him. So
Yeah.
Teddy ends up saving the adults in this situation. I guess in kind of a short round-esque situation.
He finally became ultra useful.
Um,
Well, what do you guys think of the whole Indiana Jones basically, I'm just giving up on life and let me stay here and die? Like,
No, it was more of I think kind of sacrificing himself for the greater good to an extent, which I don't know what the greater good was going to be, but I mean it was pretty much his life is just the shit, so he's going to stay and kind of
I took it.
relive some history.
I took it as. I agree with you. My life is shit. I have no reason to go home. My son is dead.
right.
My job sucks. My wife left me. Like, there's nothing to go home to. I'm going to stay here where there's still things for me to learn. I've been
Yeah.
studying history my whole life. This is history. I can learn more here than I've learned in my whole career.
Yeah.
That's the way I took it. I didn't necessarily take it as I want to die or anything like that
Yeah,
necessarily.
no.
Maybe he did. I don't know.
I think it as he was okay if he died.
Yes.
Like he didn't
Yeah.
necessarily. I don't know if he was rooting for it necessarily.
Why not? Well, I think there was a point where he wasn't necessarily sure if he was going to live because of the wound that he had
Yeah.
taken. So I mean, I think it was a kind of a partial to staying and learning, and maybe I'm unsure about if I'm going to make it back because of my wound.
Right. His whole life had been studying antiquity and having interest in it. And here he actually is in it. And he sees his actual life basically as used up and garbage. And he has this horrible wound that may or may not kill him. So I read it, took it as if I stay here and die, at least I'm somewhere that's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily know that he was counting on living because that would almost be even more frightening. Like, as a human being from 1969 suddenly living amongst ancient civilizations, that would be horribly frightening.
Yeah.
I don't know. Wade, what did you take his little thing there at the end as? Because she had to knock him out to get him on the plane to
Yeah.
get him back.
Mm-hmm.
For a period of time, I kind of thought he might stay. I was like, because they go back and forth about it for quite a while, and I was like, is he actually gonna do it? And then, of course, obviously he doesn't. But I don't know. In the moment when it was happening, I was unsure about it. I guess is the best way to put it. It was. I don't know. I took it similar to the way you guys did. His life was fucked up back in the real world, and he just found it interesting there and just wanted to stay.
Hmm.
But did you all think he was ever going to stay throughout the whole conversation?
Well, I will say this. I started to get mad at a certain point in the
Yeah,
conversation
yeah.
because I was like, they're going to fucking kill Indiana Jones in this movie.
Like there was, a
And
bit-
I was getting mad. I literally was. I was like, no, we're not doing this whole Daniel Craig James Bond bullshit where you die at the
Yeah.
end. I was starting to get mad, and then she hit him, and I was like, good for you.
Yeah, there was like, God damn it, Indy, no. And then once he hit him, I'm like, fuck yeah. Drag his
Yeah.
fucking ass back.
Yeah. By the way, we haven't touched on this yet. The guy who was asleep in the plane when Teddy stole it. Poor guy. Poor guy. To wake up and be in a war zone in ancient times and a little kid driving your plane, you would just be so confused, so frustrated, so pissed off, and probably just scared out of
Oh,
your
my goodness,
wits.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he came back and he probably went to the insane asylum because he's telling 100 people, man, I've seen some Romans. Well, lock this motherfucker up. He's a nut. Get the old paddy wagon. Get that motherfucker in a life vest.
Yeah. And then Indy wakes up in his apartment, in bed with his bandaged up, um, and Helena's either there or Helena walks in after he wakes up. I can't remember which.
She's there. The other one's
Yeah.
walking from the grocery store.
Yeah. Um, and they talk for a second, and then Marion and Sala and Sala's grandchildren walk in. And so then Sala and Helena take the kids to get ice cream. And Marion and Indy have a moment where they reverse the Raiders scene where she's like, "Where doesn't it hurt?"
Yeah,
And he's like, "Here, here," and then the lips, and then they kiss. They kind of reversed it, so he kisses her instead of her kissing him.
I like that. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. It was another callback. I thought
Yeah.
it was fine. I liked it a little bit. Um, and essentially her thing is Helena called me and said that you're back and you're Indy again, and that's something I can live with, if it's true. He doesn't actually answer the question, mind
Right.
you, but it's spoken about. And then the screen, I like this a lot. By the way, this is one of my favorite things about this movie for whatever reason. They pan out of the apartment to the street, and they show Helena and the kids and Sala going to get ice cream. And then the screen shrinks down to a little circle, and all they're showing is Indy's hat. And then he reaches out and snatches it, and then the screen goes black.
Yeah.
I really like the way they did that. I don't know why. Maybe it was just a callback to older movies. But at the same time, it gave me like, don't tell me they're thinking about making another one.
No, just showing that Indy ain't giving up.
Yeah, I think.
Or I'm Indy again.
I'm Indy. I'm back.
Yeah.
You won't see another movie, but I'm doing my thing.
I agree.
Well, does anybody else have anything they want to talk about? That's all my notes.
The bridge scene was cool in the cave. It kind of throw back to Temple.
Hmm.
Let's see if I got anything.
Oh, the
crazy.
bridge scene with Teddy and the big guy?
No, there was a part where there's a bridge in the cave, and there was like a pause before they walked down it, and all I could think was, uh, put your arms and legs in the rope
Mm-hmm.
as they're walking. I'm like, it just kind of remembrance to that part in Temple.
Well, I mean, it does end up breaking.
Yeah.
Because Teddy and the big guy fall in the water.
Yeah, I like that part too.
Teddy murdered that guy.
Yeah, the little kid outsmarted
Yeah.
the muscle. But no, I don't think I have a whole shit ton of notes really.
Wade, Barry, you guys got anything we didn't go over?
No.
Not really.
No.
All right. Well, I think that'll wrap up our movie discussion and send us into our next segment, which is rankings. All right, gentlemen. And listeners, we apologize. Because of our technical difficulties, we don't have the normal pictures and things for these characters and movies up here. It's just a blank list for us, a regular list for us. But that being said, let's start with the obvious one in the movies. I guess we'll just go around the room. Barry, where do you want to rank Dial of Destiny in these 5 movies?
I guess I'll say first of all that I liked all these movies a little more than I thought I would. Not that I thought I would hate them, but even the 2 latter ones are fine for what they are. They get a lot of bad press, but they're not really bad movies. They just may have some stupid things about them here and there, but that's all right. That said, if I'm going to go back and rewatch any of these, I would probably put Dial of Destiny at 4.
At 4.
And then just move Kingdom of Crystal Skull down 1.
That is also my vote. Good looking out, Barry.
Okay.
Wade, I know you haven't seen the list before, but this is the list that we've come up with on previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you rank Dial of Destiny according to our list
Well,
here?
actually, let's before we ask him that, what would be your personal rankings of the movies?
Well, I was sitting here trying to think. I don't know. I need to refresh my memory with some of the older ones. Um, my last one would definitely be the one with Shia LaBeouf in it.
Okay.
That's the Crystal Skull, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
Okay. What's the one with Sean Connery?
That's the
that's
third
Last
one.
Crusade.
Okay. I like. I'm trying to think. Temple of Doom is
It's the one with the voodoo,
okay.
and
All
it's
right.
got Short Round in it.
Okay. And I know what the Lost Ark is. I'll probably be pretty similar to you all's. I probably have Dial of Destiny either 3 or 4. I'm not sure I'd give a concrete answer, not being as up to date on watching some of these, but it'd probably be my 3 or 4. Probably.
All right, Ray.
Ray liked this movie a lot.
I
I
did.
think.
I think so.
I really, really did. That's why it's such a hard choice. Cause I love Temple Doom. Last Crusade is my favorite. But I know it's. I'm putting it at 3.
Nice.
3.
Yeah,
Ahead of Temple, huh?
but by a hair, and I don't have a concrete answer for that. I think it's just recency bias. But if because we can't have a tie. We can't have a 3A 3B because that's how I'd probably have Temple and Dial of Destiny would be a 3A 3B situation. But right now I'm putting Dial at 3.
Okay. So let me give you my a few things to think about. Okay. First off, Short Round.
Yeah,
Short Round is awesome.
he is
Way better than Teddy.
indeed.
Um, the that movie also has a hot chick love interest.
Indeed. I love me some Willie Scott.
Yep, yep. Hard not to. Hard not to. She's annoying, but hot.
But anything goes.
Yeah, anything goes. Yes. Um, and and he's not old.
Yeah.
Those would be my things to think about.
That's very true.
Because those are all things I thought about, by the
And
way.
see, that's the thing. I would not go against you guys at 4. I understand everything, but I think the awesome science fiction plot of the movie just kind of tipped it over the scales for me.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know. I'm just a big sci-fi guy, and the way they played the story out was just awesome. So I think that's really tipped it over. But that's why I have it at 3A 3B kind of situation. I could go either way.
So if you go 3B, that means 4.
Right.
So we can decide to go 4.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
You-
I'm not gonna fight you on it. Like
Okay,
I get what you're saying. Short
Yeah.
round's awesome. Willie's cool, but I don't know the dial thing. Got different aspects. The whole story arc, kind of go back. The time travel kind of motif. Quit looking in the past and just keep going forward. You can't save everybody. The whole thing about if I could go back in time, I'd tell him not to enlist. That's cool, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's doing a service, the whole military thing. He's doing his part, you're doing your part. You can't look too deep into that. So I like that aspect. Uh, uh, Elena bringing Miriam back at the end and kind of mesh things over, help that out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just a whole lot of cool stuff going on in the movie that I like.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're in agreement on 4 there. All right, so now we move to Sidekick, but I have a question before this because obviously I missed the last 2 episodes. How did we end up with Mud ahead of Sala?
It's Mutt. isn't it?
Mud.
Everybody fell in love with Mud.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he was a fine character.
Really?
And since Wade may not recall, Mutt is Shia LaBeouf's character
Okay.
in Crystal
Alright.
Skull. And he was, yeah, we all agreed that he was got way too much hate, and that he was actually pretty good.
I don't hate him by any means, but I do like Sala. And Salah's in like 3 or 4 movies.
I think that the point that we came across was man, I should have watched the other episode again before I did this because I mean I don't think Barry really remembers how we came to this conclusion,
No, I don't remember.
but it was kind of more of I think Shiloh was a little bit more useful. I think
He's
than
far
Salah
more
was.
integral to the story.
Integral
That's
to
for
the
sure.
story, a little more useful.
Yeah.
It got a little indie in him.
Yeah.
Salah was useful at times. He was more the Egyptian pimp guy. You know, I got some connections. I got you hooked up. I'll get some guys. We'll start digging. He was more the connect guy. Shiloh was more the sidekick heavy person.
Yeah.
So he was more sidekick heavy, I think is what we came to. Salah was more the Egyptian connect guy, more than a sidekick.
Interesting. All right. Well, I mean, nothing I can do about it now. So.
Right.
So I guess we're trying to figure out where Helena is on this list. So Barry, what are your thoughts here, sir?
This is very much spur of the moment, but I'm going to put her at 2, even ahead of Short Round.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I like Short Round, but Short Round's kind of a one-trick pony. He's cute, and he says indie funny.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Dr. Jones.
Yeah.
No type of love, Dr. Jones.
Yeah, and that has its charms. And I thought that I would dislike this character going into the movie because this movie gets a lot of bad press, and so does she. But I thought she was fine, and I
agree.
generally
I
liked
agree.
her, so I'm putting it at her 2.
Okay.
Wade, what were your thoughts here, sir?
I mean, I thought she was a fine character. I didn't mind her at all. I don't think I would put her, just going off the top of my head here with the other movies, I don't think I'd quite have her at 2. I'd probably have her more like the 4 range, but I didn't hate her by any means. She was fine.
Okay. Ray, thoughts?
I'm going under Short Round. I'm putting her at 3.
That was also my vote. Is 3.
Yeah.
I thought she was pretty useful.
Yeah.
She was knowledgeable. She was useful. Like you said, she wasn't the. I don't even know what. She wasn't the problem that people seemed to think she was when the movie came out.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah. She was the accompanying party, a
Yeah.
sidekick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm happy with landing on 3. It makes perfect sense to me.
Okay. Awesome. And then that will move us into love interest, which has become an interesting thing here because Marion is the love interest in 3 movies. So we have different versions of the same lady. And I see that you all put Marion from Crystal last.
Yeah, because she was the worthless one so far.
She drove a car.
Yeah, that's about all she did. And had a baby
Yeah.
18 years ago.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say my opinion on this one. I think this Marion has to go last because she's
Yeah.
in the movie for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's why I put a question mark here because I don't really acknowledge it as a love interest.
I mean, it's his wife.
his wife.
I mean, yeah.
That's-
So,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah.
His
like
wife
I-
can't be his love interest.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
Bound by law.
yeah, I'm going to say last.
Okay.
Does everybody agree?
I think probably.
Yeah.
Makes
Fair enough. And then that leads us to our last ranking of villains. So where are we going to rank Jorgen, or Jurgen, however you want to say it there, Barry?
I'm gonna.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
okay. I'm gonna put him at 3, under Molaram. I think he was more, a little more knowledgeable than Belrock. He actually survived, unlike Belrock did with the Ark,
Mhm.
to an extent. He knew what he's doing. He did most of the
He's
research.
a genius.
He's a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, he survived that fucking hit from the train.
Yeah, I don't know how
I'm
he
like,
did that.
I don't know how the fuck he did that. That's
Right.
another thing I forgot to bring up.
Yeah, I wanted him to have a big scar at least.
Right?
Yeah, something.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
And then, I mean, he recruited a killer fucking squad to fucking go after this dial. So, I mean,
Okay, so let me ask you this then before you finish. You seem to be really into Jurgen, so why below Mola Ram?
I mean, he had a crew already. He had a cult. He had it set up. if it wasn't for Indy coming in and screwing up, I mean, he had Indy too. Malaram had Indy
He did.
dead to rights. That's why. That's why I kind of have him under Malaram, because Malaram had shit under control. If it wasn't for short round, brave ass coming in there and saving the day, Indy's fucking dust, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to put Jurgen under Malaram.
Okay. Barry, what were your thoughts?
Now, as I sat here, I had him anywhere between 2 and 5
Mm-hmm.
because I think that he wasn't. I mean, it's Mads Mikkelsen, so I had a little bit higher expectation for what I was going to get from this character. But I guess all that said, if I like Walter Donovan enough, maybe he was the poor man's Walter Donovan. I'll put him at 2.
2. Okay. Wade, you got a thought here?
I don't think I could give a very accurate ranking. Some of the villains I need refreshed with, but the one thing, my one pushback with this villain in this movie, I thought he was a fine villain and the actor did a decent job. But I think I more like the villain because I like the actor more than I like what the actor actually did as the villain. If that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Well, for a while, I thought my stance was going to be he doesn't actually do anything himself.
Well,
But then towards the end of the movie, he starts killing people
Yeah.
himself.
I feel like for part of the movie, I was more interested in the main henchman than I was him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like that should go against him. And that guy that played the main henchman for like a 3 or 4 year period was like he played every psycho in every big movie. He's the bad guy in Logan, the
Well,
Wolverine
oh,
movie.
well, guess
yeah.
who directed this movie?
Oh, James
Mangold.
Mangold.
Yeah.
Then he's a psycho in this, and then around the same time there was this big Netflix series called Sandman. There's a
Oh.
nightmare character that's a psycho, and it's that same guy plays. And all these shows and movies came out within like a 2-3 year period.
Mm.
And he
Oh,
plays a
okay.
psycho villain in all 3 of the different little.
Huh.
So when I saw him, it kind of drew me in because I'm literally watching a show where he's a psychotic villain right now, and then so I was paying a lot of attention to him, and I thought his character was just kind of more sporadic, kind of psychotic, and just kind of drew me in at first. I mean, you didn't really know what he was gonna do,
Right.
who he was gonna kill on a whim. So, I don't know. I paid just more attention to him than I did the main villain for part of the movie, I'd say.
Well, I don't disagree there, Wade, but I guess here's my question to the group is, do we give Jurgen props for hiring that guy and using that guy?
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
because I think we talked about in some of the Bond movies, like, some of the henchmen were awesome, but they worked for the big guy.
Yeah.
You know, so like, how much credit do we give Jurgen for having this pretty interesting henchman working for him? I'm not saying I know the answer necessarily, but it's an interesting thing to think about.
I mean, what was the Bond movie with the 2 guys, Pinky and the Brain?
Yeah, yeah,
That's what we got going on here.
yeah. That's true. That's very true. I can't.
That guy reminded me of, and I think you're thinking of Diamonds Are Forever
Well, no, it was the
with Mr. Wint and Mr.
Majesty.
Kidd.
Yes,
Yeah, Majesty.
Yes, Winton Kid. Yep.
Yeah, I think that's Diamonds.
Is it
Um,
Diamond?
Yeah, this guy
Yeah.
reminded me of, and
Ma-
I've not seen this
Majesty's
actor
up in the
before.
snow.
He kind of reminded me
Oh,
of
yes,
Brad Pitt's
yeah,
character from
Blofeld.
Inglourious Bastards.
Oh.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, a little bit. You can,
Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah, I do like him.
But he did do a good job.
Yeah.
He was the standout bad guy in the movie. You're
I
absolutely
thought
right.
so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna go with 3 here
So 3-3,
and a 2.
2.
So Barry.
I'm more than happy to move down because my first thought was 5. So I'm happy to move down.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not
fair
going to
enough.
remember anything he did a week from now.
Fair enough. All right. While Ray's making some adjustments there, let's just go over our rankings as a general now, since this is our final little movie episode here. Our final movie rankings are as follows: The Last Crusade, the Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Dial of Destiny, and Crystal Skull.
Yeah.
No, I almost just said skull there. For a second.
Kingdom of the Crystal
Yeah,
Skull.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, yes. Or the order in which we put the movies. But I do agree with Barry here that none of them were terrible. And I kind of expected at least one of them to be. after what the press that the fifth one had gotten.
Yeah.
Sidekicks: Henry Jones Sr., obviously Indy's dad. Short Round, Helena, Mutt, and Sala, rounding it out. Love interests: Dr. Snyder, the original Marion, Willie
Brothers.
Scott, Marion from Crystal, and Marion from Dial of Destiny. And then villains: Walter Donovan, Mola Ram, Jurgen, Belloc, and Irina Spalko. So that is our final rankings for the Indie series. We appreciate you tuning in for our Dial of Destiny episode. We will, I guess, we'll be filling you guys in on what we're going to do next. After this, you will obviously get an outro from us, and then we will be starting Terminator. So, yes, you will get some Arnold action.
We're gonna watch both of the movies.
Yeah. Yes, we will be watching the Terminator series, so be looking forward to that. I do believe you're going to see a familiar face return to help us record some of those episodes, if not all of them. And Tom should be back from suspension.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's true. Maybe he's going to be an asshole. That being said, we appreciate you tuning in for this episode, and join us next week for the outro episode. And thanks for tuning in to Blockbuster Bums.